If you've spent any time on this platform, you've probably seen a thumbnail that looks like this. A creator, eyes wide, holding up a screenshot of their bank account or a physical check. The titles: My First YouTube Paycheck, How Much YouTube Paid Me, My First AdSense Payment. And then you click, maybe expecting thousands of dollars, maybe expecting some life-changing amount. But instead, the creator reveals a payment of $104 or $87, or maybe just enough money to buy a few meals. Yet somehow, they look happier than someone who just received a huge promotion. They're smiling, they're emotional, sometimes they're even close to tears. And that's strange when you think about it. Because in most parts of society, talking openly about your income feels uncomfortable. People hide their salaries. Companies discourage discussing pay. Money is treated almost like a private secret. Yet on YouTube, complete strangers willingly open their banking apps and show the world exactly what they earned. Why? Why do so many creators feel compelled to post their first YouTube paycheck online? Is it bragging, validation, proof, or is something deeper happening beneath the surface? Because psychologically speaking, that first YouTube paycheck is rarely about the money itself. It's about what the money represents. It's about status, identity, hope, belonging, recognition, and sometimes years of invisible effort finally becoming real. Today, we're exploring the psychology behind one of the internet's most common rituals, posting your first YouTube paycheck, and why that small amount of money often carries far more emotional weight than the number on the screen. Now, imagine spending months talking to a camera, maybe years. You film videos nobody watches. You edit late at night. You learn new skills. You upload consistently. And then someone asks, "So, how much money have you made from this?" The answer is usually uncomfortable. Nothing. For many creators, that's the hardest phase, because until money appears, the outside world often sees YouTube as a hobby, or worse, a fantasy. Parents question it, friends joke about it, partners wonder if it's worth the time. To other people, sitting alone in a room talking to a camera can look completely irrational. Psychologists have a term called cognitive dissonance. It describes the mental discomfort we experience when our beliefs and reality seem to conflict. A creator may believe they're building something meaningful, but society keeps sending the opposite message. If this is real, where are the results? That creates tension. The brain naturally wants evidence, something concrete, something undeniable. And then one day, the payment arrives. Maybe it's only $100, but psychologically, it changes everything. Because now there is proof, not opinion, not hope, proof. Suddenly, the creator can point to a bank transaction and say, "See, I am not crazy. This is a real business. This isn't imaginary. It's working." The money becomes a shield against doubt, a receipt that validates months of effort. And in many cases, posting that paycheck online is less about showing wealth and more about announcing legitimacy. It's a public declaration that says, "I wasn't wasting my time." Then here's something even more fascinating. Because nobody frames their 10th YouTube paycheck. Nobody posts a dramatic video about payment number 47. It's almost always the first. Why? Because psychologically, firsts carry enormous meaning. The first YouTube paycheck is not important because of its monetary value. It's important because of its symbolic value. Human beings attach emotions to symbols all the time. A wedding ring is just metal. A diploma is just paper. A trophy is just an object. Yet those items can mean everything to the people who receive them. Because symbols represent stories, and the first YouTube paycheck tells a story. It symbolizes progress, competence, achievement, growth, validation. Most importantly, it symbolizes transformation. The creator is no longer wondering if success is possible. Success has left evidence. That small payment becomes proof that effort can produce results. And psychologically, that feeling is incredibly powerful. The amount itself becomes secondary. The meaning becomes everything. For some creators, this marks the end of uncertainty. See, before monetization, every creator faces uncertainty. Questions constantly circulate through the mind. Will this ever work? Am I wasting my time? Is anyone actually watching? Can this become something real? Psychologists have spent decades studying uncertainty. One consistent finding appears again and again. Humans generally dislike uncertainty more than certainty. Even bad news can feel easier to handle than endless uncertainty, because uncertainty creates anxiety. The brain wants answers, it wants predictability, it wants evidence. Before monetization, creators operate largely on faith. They hope their efforts matter. They hope growth will happen. They hope success is possible. Then the first payment arrives, and suddenly hope becomes evidence. That's a major psychological shift. The paycheck doesn't guarantee future success, but it does prove one important thing: the system works. The possibility is real. And when uncertainty finally gives way to evidence, the resulting relief can feel enormous, sometimes much larger than the payment itself. But perhaps the deepest psychological shift happens at the identity level. Before monetization, a person might say, "I'm trying to become a creator. I'm hoping to become a YouTuber. I'm working toward it." Notice the language: trying, hoping, working toward. Then the first paycheck arrives, and something changes. The statement becomes, "I am a creator." Psychology suggests that identity is heavily influenced by evidence. When behavior repeatedly produces results, people begin incorporating that behavior into their self-concept. The paycheck acts as external confirmation. It validates a new identity. And identity changes are powerful because they influence future behavior. A person who sees themselves as a creator works differently than someone who merely hopes to become one. The money isn't just changing their finances, it's changing how they see themselves. And sometimes that internal transformation is worth far more than the payment. For others, you have to think about how humans celebrate achievements. Graduations, promotions, new jobs, engagements, weddings. We naturally share milestones. Why? Because sharing positive experiences amplifies emotional reward. Research in positive psychology has found that discussing and celebrating positive events often strengthens the emotional benefits associated with those events. In simple terms, good moments feel even better when they're shared. The first YouTube paycheck fits perfectly into this pattern. For creators, it represents a major milestone, a checkpoint, a breakthrough, and sharing it allows others to participate in that emotional experience. It's not necessarily arrogance, it's often celebration, a deeply human desire to say, "Look what happened, look how far I've come," and perhaps most importantly, celebrate this moment with me. In a way, posting your first paycheck has become the ultimate creator ritual. Throughout history, human communities have developed rites of passage to welcome individuals into a new status. Think of graduations, weddings, or initiations. On YouTube, this video is that rite of passage. It is the moment you transition from an outsider looking in to a member of the tribe. It signals to other creators, "I have crossed the threshold. I am one of you." It's not about the currency of the dollar. It's about the currency of belonging. So the next time you see a video pop up on your feed showing a first YouTube paycheck, look past the number. Because what that creator is actually showing you isn't money. They are showing you months, sometimes years, of invisible work that nobody else saw. They are showing you their persistence through self-doubt, their survival through the quiet skepticism of the people around them, and the moment their identity transformed from someone who wanted to create to someone who did. The amount doesn't matter. Whether it's $100 or $10,000, the emotional gravity is exactly the same. That little screenshot is simply a young creator looking at the world, pointing to their screen and saying, "I kept going long enough to make it real." And perhaps that is why we can't stop watching, because deep down, everyone is just looking for proof that their effort means something.